awful, that's it.
Hereford's Greg Edwards was Chris's opponent as he looked to build on his debut win, with Paul every bit as tense as he guided his fighter into the ring.
Good left hand there, gets through the guard.
Move the head, Chris, move the head.
As the velocity now from Hooper is good.
Speed, Chris, speed.
Right to the body and right to the head. Fantastic shot from Chris Hooper, and Edwards wobbles back, and it's going to be stopped in the second round.
All right, hey, what is going on, guys? This is Mark Millick with the Moral Medicine YouTube channel. So today we are going to be speaking to Chris. So Chris is a PFS patient that's had PFS for about 20 years now still. He took his first dose of finasteride back in 2004, and even 20 years later, he's still dealing with the effects, unfortunately. Chris is also a former professional boxer in the UK who lost his career as a result of PFS. So he's here to tell his story today. Chris, thank you so much for joining us, man.
No problem. Yeah, I mean, I felt so frustrated all for years, regarding this. I felt it robbed my career. It's so frustrating. I mean, I went from a local hero in my town to like a laughing stock.
Yeah.
You know what?
Well, then let's jump into it then, Chris. Give me a rundown on what your life was like before you got PFS.
Well, I mean, I was extremely strong. I could spar super middle. I was a featherweight. I boxed at 9 stone, but I could spar 12 stone, 13 stone men. I put some of them down with body shots as well. When I was so strong, and as soon as I started taking this drug, it just everything went completely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And before that, and my libido was extremely high all the time.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Chris. Give me a rundown. At what point did you start taking the drug, and when did you start noticing the effects of the drug?
Well, I started taking it in February 2004, and then as I started to try and get my weight down, because I had a little bit of a break from boxing, and then I started fighting again. So I had to go from 10 and a half stone down to 9 stone. And when I started doing that, that's when that drug really kicked in with me, because then I could no longer get an erection at all. You know what I mean? My erections went completely. And then I used to spar this lad called Wayne Bloy. He was a bantamweight. I had to hold back my punches all the time with him, because I don't him, with body shots or head shots or anything. But then when I started sparring him for this fight, this 10-round fight, I never hurt him once. I couldn't hurt him at all. And then the fight I had at the big arena in Scarborough, where I live, in the Spa, I got knocked out by a lad who had been knocked out by 2 lads I'd KO'd. Do you mean? Who I knocked out easily. I mean, I was just so weak.
So you just started noticing your performance just started dropping over the course of time, man.
Massively, dropped massively. My strength completely went. Like I said, I'd had 7 fights. I'd won 5 by knockout KOs, and I had 2 points wins, and I had 1 loss on points, which I thought I won. Everyone thought I won it, and I've never been stopped as an amateur or as a pro. I've never been put down in sparring middleweight, sparring super heavyweights.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Then all of a sudden I can't take a punch off a 9 stone.
Right. So at what point did you decide to stop taking the drug? I mean, how long did you take it for?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I just thought I didn't realize it was the drug that done it. Even though I couldn't get an erection or anything, I didn't think it was that, because like when I looked into the drug, it said it can have sexual side effects in less than 2% of men.
Yep.
Well, that's completely and utter rubbish. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And like I said, and then I took another fight not long after that one. Got stopped in the first round again, and then I took another one after that, and I didn't get stopped, but I got put down 4 occasions, and I was so concussed at the end of the fight.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seriously. And then that's when I went to my doctor, and that's when my doctor went, I wish you'd have come and seen me before you decided to take this drug. He said to me, you know, they don't know the full extent of what this drug can do yet. It's what Dr. Rigg it was.
Wow. So your doctor even acknowledged that this could potentially cause these types of issues with you, these lower performance issues.
This is what's caused your problem. Doctor, he's retired now, but we're going back years ago.
Right.
I mean, and he said, he said, I wish you'd have come and seen me. He said, because I'd advise you not to take this.
Did you decide at that? Go ahead.
One thing he did though, it stopped me hair loss though, big time. I was going extremely thin at the front and at the back. Yeah. And it thickened it right up. The drug works.
I don't deny the fact that finasteride works for hair loss. You know, it does work. It also causes all these additional side effects for certain people too.
Sorry, the FDA or the Food Drug or Merck who made the drug, they've not tested the drug properly. When you're training hard and dieting, the drug kicks in big time then with the problems it causes. My testosterone level, my libido completely went.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting, Chris, because I'm a bodybuilder myself, man. And when I came off the drug, that's when my issues really started. I dropped 20 pounds in like 6 weeks, man, for no other reason other than coming off the drug. My diet was the same. My workout regimen was the same. I dropped all this weight, dropped all this muscle. My muscles became loose. Skin became loose. I mean, it was crazy, man. So this does affect the body in a really profound way, and it can ruin people who are athletes, you know?
I really do. And the thing with it is, I can't believe they're still selling the drug.
I know.
The drug is still available. And they played the lawsuit out in 2018. But so if they played a lawsuit out for people that sued them, why are they still selling the drug?
I know. It's become more mainstream now too. They're selling it everywhere.
Important than health.
Right. I agree. Well, let me ask you this, Chris. I don't want to deviate too far from the conversation, but after you had this conversation with your doctor, did you immediately come off the drug at that point?
Yeah, I come off the drug then. But then what you got to remember, like with boxing, professional boxing, it's such a mental game as well.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? And so I took about another 2 fights after that, and I got stopped in both again. But then mentally, I was beat, and then the effects of that drug were still there anyway.
Right. Absolutely. So
I was 7-1 when I was 7-1 when I took the drug. And then my record ended up 7-7.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's
crazy. And like I said, I've never been stopped as an amateur and pro. Then I took this drug, I just derailed big time. It caused me so much depression in my own town because I was getting ridiculed all the time. Like I said, I went from like a local hero to a laughing stock in my own town because I was getting stopped and beat all the time.
Let me ask you this, Chris. Did anything improve over the course of time after you came off the drug?
Yeah. I'd say my libido improved a bit, but what I find with it now, well, even after finishing, it's up and down a lot more to where it be all the time. Do you know what I mean? All the time.
So, having said that, what are your current symptoms? You do have libido issues. Do you have any other symptoms at this point?
Yeah, I can't get an erection like I did used to.
Yeah, 20 years later.
20 years later, no way, nothing like I used to. I mean, my wife, you know, and at the time when I started taking the drug, I just got with my wife. And just before, I got my wife just before. And I never told her that I was taking this drug. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then I started getting the problems when I started training hard. It's when I started training hard and losing weight is when the drug kicked in. That's when she said to me, oh, you know, accused me of not fancying her anymore or anything like that. If you have a look at my wife, she's stunning. Do you know what I mean? She's Spanish. And I was like, no, I promise you, and stuff like that. I was saying, no, of course I fancy you. I love you and all that. You know, and then I told her that I was taking the drugs. So she was like, oh, you know, you need to decide what you're gonna do. Then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It become embarrassing.
Yeah, man, it's not worth keeping your hair over, obviously. You know, if you're going to have these erectile dysfunction issues and libido and sexual issues and performance issues, no, it's not worth it in the least bit.
I mean, you see a picture of my brother, didn't you? I showed you the picture of my brother.
Yep.
He's completely bald. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
I'm back of my head now. I mean, I've been using the other FDA approved drug, Minoxidil, and that's what's kept what I've got. But I mean, it's getting really extremely thin. You know.
Sure.
Absolutely. I've been drug years.
Right. Well, let me ask you this next question, Chris. So when you talked to your family about this, did they believe you when you told them that the drug caused these issues, or did they gaslight you? What was kind of what happened there?
My Maria, she's seen me boxing before I took this drug, so she realised that there's something wrong right with this. She knew how strong and everything I was. Do you know what I mean?
So she saw the change in performance then.
Yeah, she seen the decline big time.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the last questions here, Chris, did you feel like you had any type of warning about what this drug could do to you before you were prescribed it?
No, I mean, can you imagine if I would have known, what this would have done? I mean, because I'm a proud man, a sportsman and stuff. If I would have known that this drug was going to destroy my career, there is no way I would have took that drug whatsoever. Even now, I wish I could turn back time and not take the drug. Yeah. And I'm left with that. What could have been? Do you know what I mean? What could have been?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I've done over 1,000 rounds with multiple world champions: Alex Arthur, Kevin Lear, Kevin Mitchell, Scott Harrison. You see them all. I've done hundreds of rounds with them. Never got put down or hurt by any of them. And these were world-class fighters. And this sparring was full-on. Thought it was like a full-on fight every time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The regret is so immense, man, because I feel so much regret every single day.
Even now, I regret so much doing this. It's just what could have been. Do you know what I mean?
I know, man. We all think about this, man. Everyone who's a sufferer of this thinks about that. It's horrible.
No. Yeah, I regret it taking it so much. And even now, like with my erections now, they're nothing like they used to be.
Yeah, right. I understand that. Well, before we hop off here, Chris, do you have any closing statements or anything else you'd like to tell the audience?
Well, I just think he's an absolute disgrace that a company can sell this drug and not fully test it properly. I mean, the FDA's approved the drug. Yes, it works. It stops hair loss. It does help stop hair loss, but it causes so much problems inside the body with elsewhere. I mean, it destroyed my strength, my power, my libido is nothing like it. It was nothing at all. No. I had none.
Yeah. And
then I had no strength either.
Yeah.
I wish I could sue this company, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand the loss, Chris. But hey, man, we really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story here. So thank you again, and we will see everyone next time. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, mate.